As an employee of Blizzard, I feel like I have a lot of ownership over the work I do. I'm entrusted with the power to be able to make it as awesome as I possibly can.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 biggest hacks in gaming history.
There's no mold and no specific template that you need to fulfill to be a team member at EA.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most prominent instances of gaming companies getting hacked, leading to leaks of upcoming projects, player information, or other important data. Were you an unfortunate victim of one of these hacks? Share your story in the comments below. Number 10. Nintendo.
Allow us to introduce 5 features included with your membership.
In the middle of 2020, when we were all stuck inside our homes playing Animal Crossing, a multitude of users had their Nintendo Network ID accounts compromised. While Nintendo itself wasn't hacked, 300,000 accounts had login information obtained through illegal methods. Hackers gained access to digital funds, as well as personal information tied to those accounts. In response, Nintendo disabled the use of Nintendo Network IDs to sign in online.
Anytime, anywhere on Nintendo Switch.
However, Nintendo did find itself the victim of a massive leak that very same year. Between July 2020 and July 2021, multiple sets of data, including game and console source code, were posted to 4chan. The leak spanned multiple past consoles, reaching as far back as the SNES.
And the rewind function will be available from launch.
Number 9. Ubisoft.
It's a kind of a physical art. It's about trying to manipulate that interface between the player and the game.
Ubisoft is a massive publisher known for beloved franchises like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry. But that just made it a bigger target when it was hacked in 2013. Ubisoft had one of its websites breached, an event that impacted a potential 58 million users. Thankfully, no payment information was kept on the site. However, the hackers had free rein when it came to usernames, email addresses, and encrypted passwords.
So I think what's unconventional about our studio here is that we're willing to do the projects that are scary.
Outside of advising users to change their passwords, Ubisoft didn't offer much else information. Multiple security experts then called the company out, calling into question how the company stored and secured user passwords. If 58 million people were possibly affected, they should probably give us more than that.
It takes a lot of creativity and innovation, and that makes it a constant challenge.
Number 8. NVIDIA. Hacker group Lapsus made a big name for itself in early 2022. It stole around 1 terabyte worth of data from NVIDIA, the largest microchip manufacturer in the US. Among the data stolen were employee passwords, firmware data, and code for the company's DLSS.
According to The Telegraph, email systems and developer tools are suffering from outages over the last 2 days.
Deep learning supersampling is a feature found in the company's RTX graphics cards, which enhances graphical resolution and frame rates in PC games. Naturally, the impressive tech is something NVIDIA would want to keep secret. However, Lapsus got a bit overzealous, hacking other big companies like Microsoft and Samsung around the same time. As a result, multiple members were arrested not long after leaking NVIDIA's files online.
It was a wake-up call for us, and it accelerated, intensified some areas of vulnerability that quite frankly, every company has.
Number 7. Capcom. Due to a leak in 2020, Capcom fans know mostly what to expect from the publisher's upcoming release schedule. The hackers gained access to around 350,000 pieces of information from past and current employees as well as shareholders. Luckily, no user payment info was compromised. However, the hackers also gained access to Capcom's upcoming releases, which they leaked online when Capcom refused to bow to ransom demands.
If I could just forget what happened that night. The pain.
Many of these leaked projects have since been officially revealed by Capcom, including the highly anticipated remake of Resident Evil 4 and a new entry in the Street Fighter series. Assuming there won't be any delays, we can also expect a Final Fight remake and a new Monster Hunter. Number 6. EA.
Hackers have broken into EA and stolen game source code and related internal tools.
In another failed attempt to ransom stolen data, hackers targeted Electronic Arts in 2021. Those responsible stole around 780 gigabytes worth of data. This included the source code for FIFA 21 and the Frostbite engine, which is used for the sports series and the Battlefield franchise, as well as other development tools. The group reportedly first tried to auction off the data to other known hackers for $28 million. When they didn't get any bites, they then tried to extort EA. This didn't prove fruitful either, as EA refused to play ball. And so, everything was leaked online. Thankfully, no user information whatsoever was part of the 780 gigabytes. But it was still a pretty sizable breach.
There's no mold and no specific template that you need to fulfill to be a team member at EA.
Number 5. CD Projekt Red.
And the artist can start putting some assets in. Therefore, basically, this is what I'm doing now. I think I'll be done with locking all of the systems today.
In early 2021, anonymous hackers targeted CD Projekt Red in a cyber attack, which saw them make off with a ton of important data. Documents from across the Polish studio's many departments, including HR, accounting, and investor relations, were stolen, though thankfully, no personal information for any employees or customers. However, the perpetrators did make off with a treasure trove of source code for Cyberpunk 2077, Gwent, and the original version of The Witcher 3, as well as an unreleased version.
You in that hut when they rode off?
No, and I'll not set foot there.
Although it received a ransom note, CD Projekt Red refused to meet demands. The hackers then auctioned off their spoils, asking for a minimum of $1 million. All the studio could do was issue DMCAs when the code appeared online.
Oh, that was a good day.
Number 4. E3. The Electronic Entertainment Expo has had a rough couple of years. While the debate continues about whether or not it should still exist, 2019 offered a huge piece of evidence for the latter. While everything else on our list was the result of a cyber attack, E3 took care of that bit itself. On the event's official website, a link led to a spreadsheet holding the personal information of around 2,000 journalists and influencers in attendance. The ESA never explained how this blunder could have happened, but some of the attendees were harassed and received death threats. What's worse is that users were then able to uncover similar spreadsheets on past events. Oof. Number 3. Blizzard.
We want to be surrounded by people like that, making things that we don't feel like we can make anywhere else in the world.
With most of its games being online, and with how long Blizzard has been around, the studio has been hacked many times over the years. But in 2020, hackers decided to pile it on. In the span of 1 week, Blizzard was hit with 4 DDoS attacks. Distributed denial of service attacks swarmed Blizzard's Battle.net servers, making it so actual players couldn't play their games. This was in March of 2020, mind you, at the onset of the pandemic, when employees were trying to get used to working from home.
Everybody gets to throw in their ideas, and the best idea might not come from the people on the development team.
Additionally, video games were a comfort for many of us when we were cut off from the outside world. Making it so players couldn't access their favorite games was a real bad move.
And taking on the challenges of being Blizzard together that really have made us who we are.
Number 2. Steam.
Trading, workshop, summer sales. What could be better?
Steam is a pretty fantastic service, but that doesn't make it immune to cyber attacks. In 2011, Valve's digital store was the victim of a massive hack. At first, Valve believed the group had only hacked one of Steam's forums. Unfortunately, it then found that they had gained access to a database holding user information. This included email addresses, passwords, billing addresses, and credit card information.
Serious injuries may occur for your own safety and the safety of others.
At the time, the service had around 35 million users, though it's unclear how many of those users were actually put at risk. Still, it goes to show you should immediately change your passwords and keep a close eye on any card purchases if you ever get wind of events like these.
No matter how many times I've been relocated, I get used to it.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. PlayStation Network.
PlayStation Network has been paralysed, frozen after a hacker penetrated the system and gained access to the personal details of tens of millions of gamers across the world.
Where do we begin? The 2011 PSN hack was so detrimental, we still get horrific flashbacks. The attack occurred in April, resulting in around 77 million accounts being compromised and online services for both PS3 and PSP being unavailable. However, instead of notifying users of the attack, Sony took down online services for supposed maintenance. It wasn't until well over a week later that Sony made the hack public knowledge, and it wasn't until some time later when online services would be back.
PlayStation users are furious Sony took 6 days to reveal the extent of the breach.
This is a really, really long time to potentially have your personal details, out there in the ether and in the hands of a group.
To appease players, Sony gave away some games across both platforms. Many felt this was a band-aid for a gunshot wound, and government bodies from around the world questioned and investigated Sony. Hopefully, we'll never see anything like this again.
They might have accessed the personal data, maybe even credit card details, of tens of millions of PlayStation customers.
In the mood for more awesome gaming content? Be sure to check out this video here on Mojo Plays. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.